Guys, it's me again. Hey, part 3 I guess, or part 1 if you're watching it backwards. But behind me you can see that this is the house of Dr. Samuel Mudd. If you're not familiar with Dr. Mudd, he is the doctor who actually set John Wilkes Booth's leg. Of course, John Wilkes Booth broke his leg by jumping from the presidential suite, the box, at Ford's Theater after he assassinated President Lincoln. Of course, he limped to the middle of the stage and shouted, "Sic semper tyrannis." He couldn't help it. He needed to get that actor out in him, but boy, that leg must have really hurt. Anyway, they managed to make it this far by 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, the day after the shooting. They'd been up riding all night in horrendous pain. And the story goes that as the two of them limped up this long driveway, Dr. Mudd, who was already up, could actually see a traveler in distress. And of course, it's gone down in history as well. How much did Dr. Mudd really know? I mean, did he know he was treating John Wilkes Booth? He claimed he didn't. A lot of people say that would be nearly impossible. But regardless, Dr. Mudd saw a man in need, and he did set his leg, and he made splints and buttoned up Booth to the best of his ability. And he and David Herold left here that same night around 4 or 5 o'clock. Made it a little bit further down to the swamp where Dr. Mudd's father lived, and there they hung out in the swamp until the end of the day, and then they took to the roads. And of course they traveled at night. They didn't want to be captured in broad daylight, and so it must have been a horrible strain. But that's the story of Dr. Mudd and John Wilkes Booth. Of course, Dr. Mudd, in the big sweep to grab everybody associated with the assassination, Edwin Stanton wanted absolutely everybody that had anything to do with this assassination prosecuted. And of course, Dr. Mudd was indeed prosecuted. And he wound up spending months and months and months down at a horrible place called the Dry Tortugas, which is on the southern tip of Key West, Florida. And while today that might not sound bad, back in those days, there was dysentery and cholera, yellow fever. As a matter of fact, the yellow fever outbreak is what probably saved Dr. Mudd's life, because Dr. Mudd wound up being released from his cell, his prison cell, so that he could actually treat those that were suffering from yellow fever. And in an act of clemency, Dr. Mudd was allowed to return home here to Maryland, where he spent out his days. Anyway, hey, thanks for checking in. See you soon. Bye.